This is Bill Hornbarger, Chief Investment Officer at Benjamin F. Edwards, with three things to watch for the week of October 23rd, 2023. Well, a really big week for earnings. Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta platforms are all going to release earnings this week. And those are four of the seven stocks that have driven most of the gains in the S&P 500 so far in calendar year 2023. So they're going to be very, very closely watched. And we're in the heart of third quarter earnings season now. About 20% of the S&P 500 constituents have reported earnings so far. And I would characterize the reports we've seen: revenue growth relatively weak. Earnings, again, earnings expectations have been tamped down pretty considerably, but positive surprises coming in at about 75%. So the market's going to watch the earnings reports very closely this week, try to look for some positives there to break us out of the weakness that we've seen recently and change the narrative away from bond yields and what's happening in the Middle East, more back to the fundamentals here in the United States. On Thursday, the European Central Bank will announce its interest rate decision, widely expected to leave rates unchanged. And they've been on a very similar course as the U.S. Federal Reserve. The ECB has raised rates 450 basis points, 4.5% since last July. Expected to leave rates unchanged this week, but again, a very similar narrative to what we're seeing out of U.S. policymakers, that inflation is still stubbornly high and expect rates to stay higher for longer. On the economic data front, we'll get the Fed's favored measure of inflation, personal consumption expenditures, for the month of September. PCE is expected up 0.3% month over month. That would put the year-over-year gain at 3.4%. And then core PCE, excluding food and energy prices, also expected up 0.3% month over month. That would be a 3.7% year-on-year gain. Those would both represent a slight deceleration from the previous month, but still significantly higher than the Fed's comfort zone and the Fed's targeted 2% core inflation over a market cycle. Away from PCE, we'll get reports on pending and new home sales. We'll also get some regional business surveys. In aggregate, the economic reports expected to paint the picture of too high inflation and an economy that's still growing, although at a relatively slow pace.